Hello everybody, this is IndieGeek, and today I'm taking a look at the early access version of Meridian New World. So this is an indie RTS by Elder Games and being published by Head Up and Merge Games. As far as price, I do not know that at the time of this recording, but I of course, as always, will link in the description to where you can purchase the game on Steam, so you'll just have to follow the link to figure out what the price is then, and I will probably throw in the description just kind of what the price ends up being. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to jump into single player and show what's going on. So download new maps allows you to download maps made by the community through the community workshop. I don't think custom game is implemented quite yet. Skirmish mode basically just lets you pick a map and go through that scenario as one of the teams, and then campaign is the campaign. So I think what's going to be best here is probably to just load up a couple different points in the campaign and kind of show what's going on. So I will start up with the first section of the first mission.
Meet me in the laboratory when you can.
So we actually have these kind of spots. And this is past a couple cutscenes, stuff like that. We actually have these kind of spots where we are playing in the kind of space station or base that we're on. And so basically the premise of the game, and let me, yeah, I'll finish my point before talking to Donovan here. The premise of the game is that Earth is soon to be, like, destroyed, or like not able to live on anymore, basically. So we are looking for another planet, and we have found Meridian. And when we get there, there are some very strange happenings going on, and that is kind of what we're dealing with here.
Donovan? So far, yes. However, fuel will become a problem sooner or later. Our reserves will eventually run out.
Any suggestions?
Not yet. And this isn't the reason why I asked you to come here. There's a faint signal emanating a couple of miles from here.
Could it be the source of that transmission we intercepted?
No, this is something else. It looks like a signal that an active power plant would have on our sensors.
An active power plant? Out here?
Looks that way. I suggest we land and check it out.
Alright, I'll put a team together right away.
Alright, so this is going to start us into our first mission, and as soon as we get in, I'm probably going to see if I can turn the volume down a little bit. And I might not be able to, but hopefully it is not too loud. Let me see if I can. Yeah, it looks like I can only do that from the main menu, but that's alright. So, as you could tell from that little scene, the voice acting is pretty good. And that's something that I'm going to say over and over in this kind of first impressions video, is that for an RTS game made by a small indie studio, it has got like really high production value.
The chip is supposed to have an advanced detection system, right?
It does.
And for whatever reason, that just is a little surprising. I guess because you know, RTS is not really a genre that we think of like an indie studio making. So when it happens, it's you know, it's nice to see it done so well. And pardon my throat, of course. I am feeling a little under the weather this week, so my voice is not in tip-top shape, but that's okay. But yeah, so this is kind of just like the basic overview of the controls here, and I probably won't play this section too long because I want to kind of jump around, show a couple different points off. Specifically in the second mission is where things start getting really interesting. So you can see we've got various healing abilities, so we kind of have to micromanage as the commander, like our unit's health, things like that. And one of the things you'll end up doing is kind of waiting around for this bar to fill up so that you can use those abilities again. And if I open the commander menu again, as we level up, there are actually quite a few abilities that we will eventually be able to get, which is kind of nice. It gives us kind of a little bit more
I can't
progression.
establish a comm channel. Their radios aren't even detected by our systems.
I can't believe this. Who are these people?
What I was saying was a little more progression than I would normally see in like an RTS game. Granted, I haven't played a ton of RTS games, so what I'm gonna do here is jump in. I think here is what I want. Sorry, I'm gonna be kind of jumping around. Yeah, okay, so this is cool. I wanted to show off the simulation real quick. This will be pretty fast. So basically, the simulations are like mini missions based on our troops. So like right now we've got troopers and we've got Chimera. So if I jump into Trooper Mission 1, in this simulation you have 8 troopers to take out all enemy units. You must keep at least 5 troopers alive. Try to take wounded troopers out of battle so the enemy is forced to choose a new target. So I don't know if I'll win this, but as you can see, it's like a very small map because they really are just basically mini missions, and they're basically just set up to force you to play in a different way, which you know, I like a lot. I like that idea a lot. I find a lot of the times the thing that keeps me from playing more RTS games is that they tend to get kind of repetitive and you just do the same thing every mission and always win, and that is not something that I've really found with Meridian so far. I've found kind of a lot of variety in how you play, and that's definitely something that I appreciate about the game, and I think a lot of people are going to get behind that.
Copy that. He's dead already.
So, obviously, like I said, I may not win this. I'm not caring too much about like actually keeping people alive,
What's the plan?
which is you know, probably gonna end up with me losing, but
The coordinates?
that's fine if it happens.
Okay. What's the plan? I'll do that.
For whatever reason, they like to keep running back in. But that was that. So those are cool. That's just another little extra part, basically, of what's going on in the ship, basically, that you can do, or in the base that you can do. So that was that, and then I think, let's see, I want to do this one, I believe. Is this right? No, I think I actually wanted to do... Sorry, I know this is not, like, the greatest way to do this, but also, I mean, some of these missions, like, I've played 2.5 hours now. Some of these missions took me,
What is your
like,
command? Sure thing.
40 minutes to do the mission,
All right.
so...
No
this is
problem.
definitely kind of the preferred way to go through this. So the reason I wanted to do this
Good
mission in
idea.
particular was
Are
because we
those
start off...
alien scouts? I thought those never made it through prototype phase.
They didn't. At least not on Earth.
Scouts usually have an AI pilot, but these seem inactive.
Maybe I can upload a simple program so they can follow our command. Just a second.
Scout has arrived. Let's go. Scout has arrived.
And done.
Okay, so the reason I wanted to do this mission in particular is because not only do we gain a new type of troop at the very beginning, but it goes through a few phases. And there are a few phases that I have never particularly seen in RTS games. I mean, things like sneaking, like a stealth section, and as far as I know, that is not something that often happens in RTS. But it's interesting to see it play out, and it works pretty well, actually. So, and then probably what I'm going to do here is just use this mission to kind of play out the rest of the video. I think I've shown kind of what other aspects of the game there are. So now I'll just kind of show off what kind of a typical mission progression looks like. Of course, I said I will not be finishing this mission
What's on your mind?
in this video because I think this mission in particular took me about 40 minutes the first time I did it. So we will see a small portion of the mission, but you know, that's basically the breakdown of the gameplay, at least as far as I've gotten it. So there's definitely excuse me, there are definitely things left in the game that I have not gotten to. Looks like the campaign is pretty expansive, which is nice. As far as I know, there's no plans for multiplayer yet. I don't want to speak for the developers or anything. I know that may be something that people are looking for, but as far as I can tell, it is only a single player experience as of right now.
On it.
So that is something to keep in mind, of course.
Moving.
But yeah, I mean, that pretty much covers kind of the
Right
gameplay
away.
thoughts. What I will say is, like, as someone who hasn't played much RTS, especially since, I mean, the last one I probably played a lot was StarCraft 1 when I was a lot younger, and this has kind of been the game that is making me want to get back into RTS. Like, it's reminding me how much fun it is. It's reminding me how much strategy can go into it.
On it.
There are many patrols ahead. We can't take all of them on at once.
You're right. We must sneak past these enemies. Choose the best route and avoid detection at all costs.
So,
Right away.
this is kind of the sneaking part that I was talking about. Yeah, as far as like the way the actual missions play out, so like the way I feel about most RTS games is that you basically spend, 20 minutes or whatever just building as many units as you can, building as many buildings as you can, and then whoever's got the bigger base at that point is going to win. That is not so much true in Meridian. Meridian more rewards like smart play, I feel, rather than just like brute force.
Right away.
And so this, as you can see, we are kind of stealthily making our way through here, and actually the mission will fail if we end up in any of the red circles. So you do have to sneak your way through this. You don't have a choice, which is fine. I mean, obviously, if you got detected, they've got way more than us, so they would win anyways. But Meridian does not play out so much in kind of a brute force tactics wins out situation. It's more like you have to play pretty smart, and by that I mean like, so building more troops requires you to have power stations. So one of the things we're going to be doing in this mission, and I probably won't get to it because it's near the end of the mission, is deliberately focusing on taking out their power stations, because then they're not able to make any more troops. So I feel that that is kind of the play that it rewards, which is, it's a much more tactical and kind of smarter way to go about your mission anyways. So I definitely like that. That is, it feels almost unique, which is weird to say because you would think that would be somewhat standard in an RTS game, but
Will do.
in my experience, and of course, like I said, I am by no means the authority on RTS. Oh, yeah, I wasn't thinking there. That was really dumb. Oh shoot. See, now I don't know. Did it autosave? Yeah, I think that's the one I want. Yeah.
Commander, no problem.
That worked
Of
perfectly.
course, sir. No problem. Right away.
It is, as far as like
No
sound stuff,
problem.
it has the same issues that you're going to notice in every RTS game where
Moving.
you will hear the same
No problem.
lines over and over and over again. Okay, darn it. So the thing I wasn't thinking about is those guys move very slowly. I can actually go down here and maybe head forward in the mission a little bit. So
Give me the coordinates.
now we
Yes,
are
sir.
at
Tell me the
kind of a
plan.
traditional
Seems
base
there are
of what you would
workers here.
expect.
You can produce chimeras with mining tools to speed up resource gathering.
Will do.
So, when we arrived here, we've got various buildings. So this is a Shardium mine, and Shardium is what we need to basically build units, build buildings. Here's our power plants, which supply us with power. Here's our turret center. So the way this works is if you can take out the enemy's turret center, then all of their turrets shut down. So that's really helpful.
Chimera reporting.
And yeah, those are just
Tell me
storage.
the plan.
So here's actually what we use to build everything. So with this Chimera, I'm going to build my light factory, which will basically allow me to build more Chimera. And so you have various kinds of Chimera. There are the Chimera which we use to fight, and there are the Chimera that we use to mine. So like this is obviously a mining / building Chimera. We've got a couple that are fighting as well. So that's kind of cool, and you actually specify which ones you want, so you can't have like a mining Chimera go and become a building Chimera, or a fighting Chimera just out of the blue. So that's kind of an interesting thing, is you have to balance the way that you want your troops to be. And at least for the first 3 missions so far, which is what I've gone through, it gives you these missions and basically leads you through how to do it. I don't know if that's true of all of the story mode, but I would not be totally surprised if it was, just because you know, the campaign is built around completing small missions.
The power plant, you won't be able to build other buildings.
Oh, so I need to go construct a power plant. And this sort of gameplay definitely feels like what you'd expect from a traditional kind of RTS. You know, building certain bases so that then you can build certain units so that then you can have a big enough group to get done what you need to get done. And in this case, what we need to get done is taking out all of the enemy's power plants and basically all of their buildings.
We are still unable to produce scouts. If we seize that lab, we might be able to download the schematics. The enemy is also mobilizing their forces. We can expect frequent and violent attacks. If we take out some of these power plants, we could slow them down, or at the very least, divert their attention.
I'm ready to fight.
Right. So as you can see, at this point in the game, we're still a little bit in.
You can now rebuild them from the turret center located at the center of your base.
We're still a little bit in kind of. Oh, okay, cool. So I can build more turrets if I'd like. I probably won't need to, honestly. Especially because I'm only gonna play for probably another minute or two just to wrap up my thoughts here. But
Your command?
you know, overall,
What's on your mind?
you know, like I said, I've played roughly 2 hours now. Overall, my thoughts on this are extremely positive. You know, I'm having a really good time with it so far. Overall, I'm just like really impressed by how well put together the game is, and by how fun it is. Honestly, like it's just a really good RTS.
Yes, sir.
That's, you know, there's no two ways about it. Like,
As you
this
said.
is what I would want to see
Crush them.
from kind of my ideal RTS game. It hits on all the right
Your
points for
command?
me,
What can I do?
and obviously that's a big plus in my eyes. You know, I don't know. I'm not coming from the perspective of someone who's played some of the newer RTS games, so I can't directly compare to things like StarCraft 2, you know, things like that, but I can say that I am having a very good time
Definitely.
with this game in particular. And, you know, in my mind,
Tell me
this
the
is
plan.
a really good representation of RTS games. So, this is probably about where I'm going to wrap it up. you know, the other things, of course, to mention are the game looks great. This is actually on medium settings, running on a laptop, so you know, you can go one graphics setting higher than this. It goes low, medium, high.
Produce scouts and research additional weapons for our units.
It also sounds great. You know, I mentioned the voice acting. The sound effects and the music are also really, really good as well.
Take 'em out.
Overall, it's just a really, really well put together game. And it's, you know, the thing that kept kind of in my mind as I was playing through this is I was just surprised that this is in early access, because it feels like it could be ready to just go on the market as it is. So, you know, it's nice to know that the developers are still adding things and still thinking about the product and wanting to improve it even past this point. So that is definitely the wrap up of my thoughts here. I am, you know, I'm having a great time with the game. I highly recommend it. I think if you like RTS games, you will like it. And as you saw from me, I have not played an RTS game in a while, and I've kind of jumped right in and fell in love with this one. So that is kind of my overall impressions of the game. So, as always, feel free to comment if there's anything that you'd like to comment on. Subscribe to the channel to see more of my videos every single day, and if you liked what you saw in my look at of Meridian New World, then please consider clicking the like button, because that helps me out a ton. I definitely appreciate everything that you do to help. So with all of that being said, I thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.
Yes, sir.